What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 3-year anniversary special of the Debate Mates. I'm Matthew. This is Techman Jack.
Of course.
And over here we got Coach Z. Unfortunately, Nate and Stretch couldn't be here with us today, but they're still Debate Mates family, Debate Mates strong. And like I said, 3 years anniversary today. And when it's the anniversary, we gotta pull out the big guns, talk awards, and that's what we're gonna be doing here today. Unfortunately, no debate this year.
Yeah, I wanted that. I even had buzzers with timers, so people had only a minute each to answer the questions.
Has it really been a year since we did that?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I bought the buzzers, they're Family Feud buzzers, legit 30 seconds and 60-second timers, and you really have to put in everything you know about your argument condensed, versus you just go off for 5 minutes and hope a point hits, and then you use that point, right?
I think that was the peak of the debate.
The peak! We're getting stronger. We're getting Preston strong.
We'll have to bring that back.
That was the best video we had.
We should do that for the predictions for the Eastern-Western Conference, like who's going to finish, who's going to make the playoffs. I think we should do that.
So now you guys got to subscribe so you can see that video later on. But you should subscribe anyways. Like, comment, subscribe. Help us get some more subscribers. Let's beat the algorithm. And without further ado, let's get started on some Rookie of the Year predictions, and obviously we'll make our way down to MVP a little later on. Coach Z, I think you've been in the least videos out of the three of us, so why don't you start?
Okay, I think Rookie of the Year along with Coach of the Year is probably my two least favorite awards. I think coaches have limited impact when you have 5 really good players on the court. And I think Rookies of the Year is just so unknown. Like when we did this video last year, who were we saying was going to be?
We both picked Obi Toppin.
I know. And Obi Toppin was probably the most miserable rookie season. This year, though, based off of Summer League, I'm going to go with Jalen Green for Houston. One, he led the NBA Summer League in points. So he had 20 points a game. He was shooting 50% from the field, over 50% from 3 points. I love the decision of him that he's always played the best competition. So he's playing world basketball. He's a 3-time world basketball champion. And he continued on by skipping college and going to the G League. That's a big move. And I think the competition is a little bit more adult-minded. So I think his transition from, okay, I'm pre-NBA to NBA will probably be smoother. And we all know, Rookie of the Year, it's a points award, right? Yeah. I mean, I know LaMelo didn't lead in points, but he got enough points with his other stats. But if you're going to have 15 points or higher per game in the NBA and you can make it all season, you're good to go. And there's a huge void in Houston, so he'll have the minutes.
I tend to agree. I got Jalen Green as well. Because I think that him playing in the G League, I think that's going to serve him well. Because we've seen more players doing that lately, to not taking the traditional, go to college for a year, be one and done, and go to the league. Because their game doesn't always translate from college to the NBA. It's a totally different game. And I think that the G League, having some real, almost NBA-like experience, is really going to serve him well. He played great in the Summer League. Not that that's always an indicator. I mean, Lonzo Ball won Summer League MVP his rookie year.
And so did Kuzma, I think.
The GOAT.
Did Kuzma win?
Kuzma the GOAT.
Kuzma won. Kuzma was on the championship team for the Summer League. He might have been Lonzo.
Well, Kuzma actually did peak his rookie year.
Right.
So it's
Kuzma the GOAT.
Kuzma the GOAT. Right.
Steph Curry. Kuzma.
Yeah, I agree with you. Last year I tried to get all cute and I went Obi Toppin because he played for the Knicks.
He's so athletic.
This year I'm not messing around. I just went Jalen Green. I think Scotty Barnes comes in at second. I like his fit with the Raptors. They got a lot of long, athletic guys, and I just think he fits their system real well. And then Cade Cunningham, I think, will be in the discussion as well. But Jalen Green, I think he and Christian Wood complement each other really well. Their play styles, a nice point guard and center combination there, so he'll be able to get his assists. And their play styles don't contradict each other, so I think he'll be able to basically flow like he normally would. He's not really going to be hindered by any other teammates, a shooting guard or anything like that. He and Kevin Porter Jr. will be able to bounce off of one another in the backcourt, which I like a lot. So I think he's going to average 18, 20 points per game and definitely win Rookie of the Year this year. So, moving on, Jack, you want to get us started with Deep Boy?
I hope it's not Rudy Gobert.
Thank God.
And I don't think it's going to be him because of voter fatigue. I could see Giannis winning it again because I don't see him winning MVP. Probably Giannis, honestly.
You think Giannis will win Deep Boy?
I do. Because here's the thing. Rudy Gobert is probably the best paint defender in the league. But he's won it 2 or 3 times. Nobody wants to see him. Wait, is it 3 times?
And when we see the Giannis thing where you are MVP, but you can't do it in the postseason, so I'm not going to vote you MVP anymore. Will it be kind of like that for Rudy Gobert, where you've been Defensive Player of the Year, but you can't defend in the postseason?
Right, and not just that, but he's not. I don't really think he ever should have been winning it because he's not a versatile defender. It's not to say he's not an all-time great defender. At this point, he's probably a Hall of Famer, as much as it pains me to say that because I don't like Rudy Gobert. But he can't defend on the perimeter.
Right.
And you've got guys like Giannis who are just as big as him who can do both. And because there's no really voter fatigue issue with Giannis because he's only won it once. And, he's probably not going to win MVP. I could see him winning it. I don't think it's going to be Ben Simmons because I don't think anybody's too hot on Ben Simmons this season.
How much he even plays.
If he even plays, right. Because who knows if he's going to get traded. He's got to get traded, but if he doesn't, he's not even going to play. So.
Yeah. I think a different Bucks teammate will finish ahead of Giannis. I don't necessarily think he'll win, but all offseason, for the last couple of years, all we've heard is that Drew Holiday is the best defender in the NBA. He was amazing in the postseason on defense, amazing in Tokyo in the Olympics on defense. I think he gets a lot of votes this year, and I think we're going to see maybe a switch towards guards winning it, especially after that postseason where we saw that perimeter defense is a little bit more important than interior defense at this point in the NBA. So I think Holiday could maybe get in there around second or third place, and then Bam Adebayo finally takes it this year.
Yeah.
Speaking of versatile defenders, I think he and Anthony Davis are pretty similar on defense, but I think Bam plays more games. And he can defend on the perimeter. He can also defend in the paint.
Right.
Heat are going to be great on defense with Lowry this year. So they're going to be probably top 5, top 3 defensive team in the league. And then you look at the best defender on that team, probably be Bam Adebayo. So I think he'll win it. Drew Holiday maybe comes in second or third. And I think Gobert will still get votes. He'll still be a contender at the end, one of the finalists, I think.
Yeah, so I'm with both of you. I think Rudy Gobert, there's going to be a lot of voter fatigue. You don't really produce in the playoffs. If you're looking at metrics, he has all of them, his blocks per game, his adjusted field goal percentage when people are going into the hoop. But as a big guy myself, I think it's
you're 6'4", could I see?
I'm 6'4".
You're a shooting guard.
But in the average man's world, I'm the center every time I go to a ball court, right? Very rarely is there somebody taller than me that I play against. So I'm typically the 5. And I think it's an easy position to play to get recognized defensively. Right. I'm going to get most of the rebounds. Many times when I do adjust shots, it's like a help defense move where the guard or the shooting guard, they penetrate, and then I help that guard that's marking them to adjust the shot. I have so much more respect for 1s and 2s that play great defense because 1, they're usually guarding the best offensive player on the other team. Right. And 2, they're just, you're moving around everywhere. You have to have lateral quickness and agility. Those centers are just lunky, tall, slow. Mm-hmm. So I'm hoping, this is my petition, to stop always looking at the 5 for Defensive Player of the Year. I appreciate the Bruce Bowens. I appreciate the small guys like maybe Danny Green. But this is where I come with my pick. And he's kind of favored, but he's down 8th or 9th on the Vegas charts.
Let me predict who I think it is. I think they're going to Marcus Smart. Is that who you're going to say?
No, not at all. Good guess, though. So, number 1 was Rudy Gobert last year. Who was number 2?
Last year?
Do you guys remember?
I have no idea.
Ben Simmons. Right. So Ben Simmons was number 2. Ben Simmons is gone. There's a void there. Who's going to fill that void? Somebody that has really played well as a role player throughout the season and may get substantial minutes this season. I think it's Matisse Thybulle. I love his game. Just watching him, he is a freak athlete. He is so long. He affects everything offensively from offensive players. He gets plenty of steals. He gets blocks. He's that guy that does a little bit of everything. And then I hold Danny Green's comment, because Danny Green is regarded as one of the better defenders in the league, and he said Matisse Thybulle, where he is, how young he is better than who I was at that age and anybody else he's seen. So he only has room to grow. And then just like with our World Championships and Olympics, he helped lead Australia to 3rd place, that bronze medal. He played his feet off, and and I think we're going to see that progression for him to contribute more in the NBA.
My only counterpoint to that is it would be really hard for him to win it if he doesn't start, and I don't know if he'll start.
I just don't know if he's a well enough known player to win it.
You're gonna know his name.
Well, I know his name, but to the average fan, I don't know if they would know.
I don't know. He was pretty popular on those vlogs.
He was.
Oh right, well during the COVID vlogs, those were cool. But I agree with you. If he's not starting, the majority of fans are not going to know who he is, and he's probably just not going to get enough recognition.
Well, and if he's not starting, he's automatically not guarding Kyrie Irving.
That's also true. He's not getting opportunities to guard the best player on the other team.
But if you look at average starting minutes, it's 30 to 32 minutes for an average start in the NBA. He's going to get above 30 minutes a game, and there's many times where he'll guard the best player. we say the name recognition, but the fans have 1 vote out of 100 for this award.
Yeah,
like, 100 of them are the sportscasters and the commentators, and then 1 vote is what the fans choose. So, I don't know. We'll see. I'm interested. And they predict him right now like 7th for Defensive Player of the Year.
I am a little disappointed in you, Coach Z, because one of your Warriors, Draymond Green, was a finalist last year. He was 3rd place.
No.
You don't have him.
It's ancient. It's old.
You don't have him finishing up there again this year?
No, I don't. I'm so disappointed. He should have taken over the year Curry and Clay were out, and it just looked like a shell. And he's okay.
Do you think Klay Thompson could have any chance to win Depoy off of a narrative?
Listen, Klay Thompson deserves every single award on the list. But
thank you. I was gonna actually put he's like a plus 15,000 to win MVP. I'm like, yes, way to recognize Klay. Like what?
I think the NBA would be infinitely better if Klay just won every award every year.
I agree.
I like when he goes out on his boat and then he just swims in the
with his dog.
With Rocco.
Klay Thompson's the most wholesome player in the NBA.
Yeah, everybody loves Klay Thompson.
I would rank Klay Thompson as funnier than Kawhi Leonard.
I think that's fair.
I think that's
because
they both neither of them have to try, but I feel like now that Kawhi Leonard is known as like the unintentionally funny NBA player, it's like I don't know, it's a little too mainstream to find Kawhi funny. I'm a Klay Thompson enjoyer.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Moving on, we got most improved player, and I'll start on this one, and I think I'm going to make Coach Z really happy.
Ooh.
First,
James Wiseman.
I think Tyler Hero will be a finalist, 3rd
Okay.
place. I think my only thing with Tyler Hero is in the bubble, he was getting comparisons to a young Devin Booker. So what would he have to do to win most improved? Because his peak, as we've seen in the bubble, is like 20 points per game. So if he averages 20 again, he improved a lot from last season. But from his peak, he didn't improve.
Yeah.
So I think he'll still get a lot of votes just because of his improvement from last season. I think Kyle Kuzma could finish runner-up this year. I think in Washington he'll get more opportunity.
The GOAT.
The GOAT, Kyle Kuzma.
The GOAT.
And we'll see how these states rule with vaccines as we keep getting further into the season. But if Beal isn't vaccinated and at some point isn't allowed to play in home games in Washington, then Kyle Kuzma's going to have to step up. As scary as that sounds.
Kyle Kuzma is completely incapable of stepping up. So I don't think there's a chance he wins it.
So I think he'll see a lot of improvement. I think he'll have a good narrative behind him now that he's out of LA. People will be, I think, rooting for him to do well in a new situation.
Not me.
But number 1, I have Jordan Poole. He's looked great in Summer League.
Yeah.
He's going to get some starting minutes up until probably January, until Klay Thompson comes back. And if he's playing well enough, maybe Klay moves to the 3. The Warriors don't really have a bona fide small forward. I guess Wiggins, he could play the 4. Okay. Move Draymond down to the 5 for a bit of a small ball lineup like
but then what about
15, 16 year. Wiseman, they did better. They played a lot better once Wiseman went down with the knee injury.
Yeah,
so.
when Looney's projected to be the starter, Wiseman's coming off.
So if they go, I think Jordan Poole could force some rotation changes for the Warriors and really make them switch up their game plan as to who they think their best 5 starting 5 is. He's a great shooter out of Michigan, really versatile, great ball handling, solid passer, can get to the paint. I just really like Jordan Poole's game. I think he's improving a lot. And Curry, one of his best attributes is making others around him look really good. And if the Warriors get off to a hot start with Jordan Poole averaging around 20 points per game, I could definitely see him winning it this year.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan Poole, out of those 3 guys, I think is the most likely. Because even with star power like Steph Curry on his team, I mean, but Steph isn't known for taking the spotlight away from other players. That's the thing. So Steph is not a ball-dominant star. He doesn't need the ball to make an impact on the team. And Jordan Poole has looked really good. I mean, I feel like we say that every single preseason he's been in the league, he looks really good. But he's going to be getting better. He's going to be getting more minutes until Klay Thompson comes back in. I honestly think he's probably the most likely on that list to win it. Because Kyle Kuzma and Ben Simmons are the same person to me. Narratives ruined these guys. Like, their mental state must be in such a dumpster right now. I mean, I can't imagine being as unconfident as Kyle Kuzma must be right now. And that sucks to say, but it's true. And Tyler Hero...
the ultimate confidence. It's Kyle Kuzma, the GOAT.
The GOAT, Kyle Kuzma. Tyler Hero with Lowry on the team, I don't see any reason why he would improve. And even if he does, he's not gonna surpass his peak, but, not far past it anyway.
Okay. So do you have a pick?
Yeah, would you?
Probably Jordan Poole.
Not out of these 3. Do you have a pick?
I don't. This is not an interesting award to me, Matthew. But I'll say Jordan Poole. If you'd like me to make an official pick, I'll say Jordan Poole.
I believe Michael Porter Jr. is towards the top of the odds right now.
People are already overrated.
Kevin Porter Jr.
Kevin Porter Jr.
Kevin Porter Jr. and Michael Porter Jr. are like...
Michael Porter Jr. is already incredibly overrated, I think.
Maybe.
Have you seen the things talking, all the posts on social media about him getting like a $200 million max contract?
Yeah, he did.
This dude averages like 14 points a game for his career.
We're
talking about a max
Tobias Harris.
Yeah, maybe a little
bit of everything.
More athletic Tobias Harris.
Yeah, rebound, steals, blocks.
Right.
And in this day and age, if you have that third player, it really helps your team.
Yeah.
The Jordan Poole thing, that's very interesting. When I look at most improved, I look at a player that's like has good stats the year before, but somehow ascends to like, if you weren't an all-star, then you become an all-star. Or if you look at the last few most improved players, they're usually the first or second best player on their team. So like that takes me out of the Jordan Poole conversation and the Tyler Hero, because they will probably have good seasons, but are they going to be top 2, top 3 on their team? Absolutely not.
Right.
So I that's why I think maybe the Michael Porter, maybe you can ascend to being like the, or the Kevin Porter, you can ascend to being the 1-2. Mine personally, because the last two we look at Julius Randle, and then who was before Siakam? 3 years ago.
Siakam,
my boy, is Zach Levine. I say him because his year last year, phenomenal.
Right.
If you look at his stats as a scorer, were awesome. Decent number of assists, good rebounds, steals. Like, he was very efficient offensively. Most improved goes to what team has the most wins with that like upper echelon. So like Julius Randle did it, the Knicks make the playoffs the first time. Chicago had a horrible year last year, like one of the worst records, but they're projected to have one of the highest win totals of any team because of all their additions. So you have a full year of Vucevic, you have Lonzo Ball upgrade at point guard. So I think Zach can kind of really just focus in on his defensive capabilities, and if he did exactly what he did last year this year, yeah, Chicago makes the playoffs. There it is. Because they look at that player that's going to be 1 or 2 on your team, and then you have brought your team to the playoffs or a better season of what was. So
I would argue if one of the Bulls players were to win it, it would be Lonzo this year.
Really?
Because Zach Levine's already got his All-Star appearance. Yeah. I think if it's one of them, it would be Lonzo going from this year being a borderline All-Star. Because normally it's someone that is around the All-Star, maybe slides in, and then next year after that is when they become like a superstar. So I think last year would have been Levine's year to probably win it now that he's already recognized as an all-star.
Gotcha.
But I could see Lonzo maybe slipping in there for the Bulls. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is another name I'll throw out there for the Thunder as a
for most improved.
Yeah,
but he's already so good.
Maybe, but it's not about you being good. All the most improved players in my mind are good players, right? It's just that they don't have the wins to match. So Julius Randle, okay, maybe his career was like teetering. He reunites with Tom Thibodeau, or goes with Tom Thibodeau. He has this MVP caliber year, right? And the Knicks make the playoffs for the first time in forever, and they actually kind of do something in the playoffs, right? They look promising. So Shai is a great player. Oklahoma City, they're going to win 22 games this year. Yeah. There's no way he gets MIP with their team winning 20 games. If Shai takes that team and they make the playoffs, absolutely. It's like a wrap, you know.
Another couple names I'll throw out there.
Yeah.
Some guys that just got their rookie contract extension in that.
I have another name, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll throw out Mikal Bridges, 3-and-D guy for the Suns. He's going to have some national spotlight after making it to the finals. But to your point, he won't be the 1 or 2 guy on the team.
He won't.
But he could definitely average 18 points a game this year, I think, something around that. Another name I'll throw out there, Kevin Huerter, maybe.
My brother.
Maybe in the discussion
Red Velvet. Red Mamba.
Played really well in the postseason, got some eyes on him. And he's going to be looking for that rookie contract extension. He didn't get it this summer quite yet, but he's going to be looking for a payday, so maybe he takes a bit of a step up. Those are my 2 names. One of them maybe a bit of a wishful thinking, but what was your other name?
My other name was Jaren Jackson Jr. I had a lot of hope for him last year. He was supposed to miss like 1 week. He ended up missing like 6 months. But he's the type of guy that like could be not the face of the NBA, but a key star for many years if he stays healthy.
Right.
I mean, he has range for a big guy. He gets his block. He has really good averages, field goal, free throw, and I think he could be like the second face of Memphis behind John Moran. So, Jaren Jackson Jr.
All right.
JJJ, Triple J, JQ.
Now the next award that only has to do with scoring.
I love this game.
We got 6th man of the year, and Coach D, you want to start with 6th man?
Yes. So thank you for that perfect bridge of 6th man of the year. I think you looked at my piece of paper. I'm big into like fantasy.
Okay.
Right. Like I like the algorithms. I like numbers. What is the two words qualitative or quantitative? What is the one that means like you looking at numbers?
Quantitative.
That's what I am, right? Because fantasy stats matter. And I'm just going to take you back to this month of April 4th through April 24th. I'm a owner of, I don't know if you can say owner anymore, of 3 fantasy teams. I have some stars like Kawhi Leonard and Kevin Durant and Joel Embiid. They're all going out because of injuries. They're old and broken.
Right.
My fantasy championships are on the line. Who do I pick up in free agency that steps up for one of the most miraculous 1-month fantasy seasons ever? It is none other than Red Velvet, Red Mamba himself, Kevin Huerter. Let's go! I love him. I mean, I said, Kevin, can you give me points? Give me points. Kevin, can you give me rebounds? Give me rebounds. I need a steal. I need a block. He gives it all to you, and I love it. So for that alone, I have to say his name in this video. 6 man of the year is Kevin Huerter. I don't know if he's starting or coming off the bench. I don't even know if he's eligible, but he will get in this award show. I will say his name.
All right.
Praise Red Mamba. How great is that nickname? Red Mamba?
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
Ronald Threesley.
Ronald Threesley. What about Time Lord?
I love Robert Williams.
That's
He
still my
could be in
favorite.
most improved contention this year.
Maybe.
If he gets some starting minutes for the Celtics.
I mean, Time Lord didn't give me a fantasy championship.
That's true.
Kevin Huerter did.
Oh, he gave you a championship.
Oh, yeah. That team
wow.
won. That team won, yeah.
Do you have any other picks for 6 man or Kevin Huerter all the way?
All the way. Kevin Huerter or bust.
It's going to be between him and Cam Reddish for that starting spot this year on the Hawks.
Right.
Reddish has played really well. He played well in the postseason, but Huerter played well in the postseason too. It's going to be interesting to see who they ultimately give that spot to. But I don't know. It's Jordan Clarkson for me, 6th man of the year.
That's always a safe
Voter
bet.
fatigue?
That's like your
can.
Rudy Gobert depoy vote though.
Yeah, but they just always look at
He's won it
scoring.
more than once.
You
right?
can, because who is it usually? Ginobili, he's coming off the bench for so long. Lou Williams is coming
Lou
off.
Williams is always a contender.
Clarkson, would he average almost 20 points a game coming off the bench?
and I'm
If he
sure
does
he'll do
that
it again.
Yeah.
Some other players
He just
in
has
there.
that role. That's why I don't like the 6-player league. I think we talked about this before. It's because those guys are getting starter minutes. Are they really a 6 man of the year? You're playing just as much as just you don't start.
You just don't start at the beginning. Yeah.
And then some other players in contention. Patty Mills, I think, could be in there.
Okay.
This will be his first year with the Nets coming off the bench. Well, I guess he might
Starter.
get a lot of starter minutes
He's a
without
starter
Kyrie.
now.
Didn't think
Yeah.
about that when I was making this list. Then Derrick Rose. I think
Derrick
we'll
Rose
get some
was going
votes
to be my
again.
pick.
Okay, Derrick Rose.
Derrick Rose is going to be my pick. That's probably wishful thinking. I just like Derrick Rose. I just want to see the
That man is 47 years old.
Everybody he's younger than Steph Curry.
Is he?
Yeah,
that's
because
right.
he was
won
so
the
young
MVP
when he won his
21.
MVP.
Oh, and Steph Curry had to fight through the college ranks for 4 years.
Yeah.
What about our boy Jordan Poole? Are you guys shooting that he's a starter?
I think he's going to be a starter for enough of the year to where he's not really going to be.
I think he would be in contention. I don't know.
Maybe if
the
Klay
official
Thompson comes back before the start of 2022, maybe. But if Klay's coming back in January, February, around the All-Star break or something, that's more than half the season that he's been starting.
Yeah,
but at that point, are you really a 6th man? It's you were only 6th man half the season. You got
by the time the voters vote, they'll remember him as a 6th man.
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't know, but I also think he's that spark plug. When Curry's off the floor, you have him in there for that type of instant offense and playmaking abilities. It's almost counterproductive to have him on the court at the same time. I think Poole's coming off the bench, but
what about Tyler Hero, 6th man of the year?
I don't know. I was big in the Miami Heat of winning the Eastern Conference and being the NBA champions when we did our last prediction. So everybody on the Heat dead to me. I'm just kidding. Not that extreme, but it's just disappointing.
I think the Heat lost all their hype after that bubble year.
Well, no, because they have now our salt pepper, a little bit of Lowry. Right?
They got Lowry,
So
yeah, but if anything, I think that Lowry's gonna. Well, I guess that would put Hero on the bench for sure, because he's not going to start over Lowry.
Or Duncan Robinson.
I love Duncan
Or
Robinson.
Duncan Robinson, right? The GOAT Duncan.
Easy.
Well, they would
Kuzma's
put
the only
Miami
guy in this
was-
league.
Well, are you saying they're going to put Jimmy at the 3? Is that what they've been doing?
Jimmy at the 3.
Bam at the 4. And
PJ Tucker at the
PJ
4.
Tucker at the 4 and Bam at the 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tyler Hero, I don't know. I think he peaked his rookie year. For as long as he's in Miami, at least.
I think he'll have a
I think he'll have a solid
JJ Redick type of career.
Yeah, a 15 point per game, solid shoot. Well, I think he's a better scorer than Redick. He's just not a better shooter.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay.
Because Redick isn't
You
a
think he
ball
was kind
handler.
of typecast to just spot a 3 points and you kick it out to him?
Well, that's what Redick did his whole
Yeah.
career, and he was great at it.
And
But Tyler Hero can't shoot as well as Redick,
But he can get
but
it off
he
the
can
dribble.
get it off the dribble. That's
Yeah,
the
he's a
thing.
better ball handler.
And playmaker than I think Redick. because that was never Reddick's job. That was never what he had to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw out one more name for most improved player. Moving backwards here, De'Aaron Fox.
Okay. For most improved.
For most improved.
Who's the rookie that went to Sacramento?
Davion Mitchell.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just asked that because I was looking at rookie of the year and I was like, oh, but then there's De'Aaron Fox, so he'll never be rookie of the year.
Sacramento.
Yeah, and Buddy Hield and who else they have? Who's my boy? The rookie. Tyrese
Halliburton.
Oh, Halliburton. Yeah, he's
okay, so that rookie will never get any play.
All right, now we're going to the granddaddy of them all.
Ooh, coach of the year. What? Coach of the year. Coach of the year. The granddaddy of them all.
All right, MVP, most valuable player.
No, coach
you want to throw in your coach of the year?
No, the viewers will never be able to see MVP once we go to coach of the year.
All right, let's make it quick then. I got Nate McMillan.
I got Nate McMillan.
I think that's an easy one.
I think it's not an easy one. I think it's not Nate McMillan. I think it's going to be Monty Williams with Phoenix Suns.
Okay.
And this is the ultimate, we'll give you an award because we feel sorry about what happened last year. I think
that was not his fault. That was Chris Paul and Devin Booker's fault.
Well,
they sold that series.
Well, no. I'm talking about the coach of the year. Those votes were in before your playoffs happened. So coach of the year is Tom Thibodeau because you take the Knicks to the playoffs. But Monty Williams actually had more first place votes and more third place votes than Tom Thibodeau. It's just that Tom Thibodeau got the majority of the second place, which overall slightly edged Monty Williams. But look at what Monty Williams did. You've created a culture and a franchise. You've taken a team that barely made the playoffs a year before and were projected to be okay to an NBA Finals. I think there's a lot of recognition for the past. They'll make up for it this year.
Yeah, for me, Nate McMillan is not a hard pick. I mean, I think people were kind of surprised with what Atlanta did last year.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people thought that was a fluke. That they, just by circumstance, they got lucky enough to make it to the Western Conference Finals. But I mean, they took
Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh yeah, Eastern Conference Finals. Excuse me.
Yeah.
All right, okay, relax. But they took the Bucks to 6 games, right? Was it 5 or was it 6? It was 6 games, and that was with Trae Young injured. I think there's an argument to be made they could have taken him to 7. Yeah. And if you make it to 7 games, there's no reason why you can't make it to the finals.
I think there's an argument to make if Giannis hadn't gotten injured.
Well, okay, that's a fair point too. But I mean, Trae Young, you never know with Trae Young when he's going to go off. Would they
or Kevin Huerter?
And if you make Kevin Huerter, do they even make the playoffs?
Or they could go Kevin Huerter. Now, would they have beaten Phoenix? No, probably not. I don't think they're a championship team.
Would they have beaten Brooklyn if Kevin Durant were a size 13?
I mean, the Bucks wouldn't have even beaten the Nets if Kevin Durant had a smaller shoe size. But, I think they're going to surprise people. I don't think they're going to make it to the finals. I'm not sure they'll even make it to the Eastern Conference Finals again. But they will be a solid playoff team. I think they'll be 5th seed or better. I think they'll be solid within the playoffs. No play-in, nothing like that. And if they can keep that, and they've got a really good young core, too.
You're really passionate.
I'm very passionate about the Hawks. You should appreciate this, man. As a Hawks guy. I think they're going to surprise some people this season. I think a lot of people are not thinking very highly of them, even after what they did last year. Because nobody thinks of the Hawks as a great team.
Can I just add just real quick? When we did our predictions at the beginning of the season last year, did we all have the Hawks? Were they even making the playoffs?
I didn't have them in the playoffs.
I don't remember, but
I probably all had them. That's okay. No, but we're not going to choose the Hawks.
I don't think
that just gives more credence to Nate McMillan.
Yeah. All right. Now it's time.
No. I have one more name for Coach of the Year. The puppet master himself, LeBron James. I think he's Coach of the Year as he assembled his Avengers, his 2012 All-Star team.
Right.
And we know, you can pretend that it's a coach there besides him. He's pulling all the strings. He should win.
I'll throw out
That's our coach stretch, LeBron James.
I'll throw out my 2 names then, too.
I got names.
I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this right. Ime Udoka.
Okay.
New head coach of the Boston Celtics.
Who?
Maybe if they were 7 seed last year, so maybe they go 6-5 seed this year. Maybe you get some votes. It's normally a new coach or a coach of a team that's like a 1-2 seed. It's not going to. That's why I have Nate McMillan winning it, but mostly because he's kind of still a new coach because he came in halfway. Then third, I think Rick Carlisle will get back in there now with the Pacers.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know if the Pacers will make the playoffs because the East is
and nobody pays attention to the Pacers.
The East is kind of loaded this year.
Yeah,
East is loaded, and the Pacers are a small market team.
And that's
get enough attention.
Something I'll throw out there, I don't remember his name, so maybe he won't be voted in because he has very little name recognition. Who's the coach of Utah Jazz?
Quinn Snyder.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah.
Quinn Snyder.
I think him because they finished number 1 overall, right? Their seed, they had very little turnover. All those guys are coming back. So if you haven't won it before yet, you finished number 1 in a conference. That usually gives you a few bonus points in that
Quinn
voting.
Snyder looks like a serial killer.
He looks like an evil supervillain.
He's terrifying.
So,
It's on national TV. Be careful when you say that.
Oh, you're right.
Are we running now MVP, Jack? I know you got. You really like talking about coach of the year.
Oh, of course.
MVP. I'm gonna choose whatever guy you don't choose. I have 4 names.
I have 10 names.
10?
No.
You've got Paul George on your list.
I'm
And not Kawhi Leonard. And not Kawhi Leonard.
Delete.
I'll start off now since we already got
list.
some spoilers.
Delete list.
So first, I'll start off with my players in contention. I think Jokic. These are outside my top
Oh, so
3.
you're just gonna do the whole
These are like your
MVP
honorable
thing yourself.
mentions?
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw out a couple names here. We got Jokic. I think he'll be in contention again.
Right.
Yeah.
Steph Curry, of course.
Yeah, good.
Joel Embiid, especially without Ben
Great.
Simmons. I think they'll finish towards the top of the East
I
still.
like that argument.
Jason Tatum. I think he'll finish towards the top. And
He's strong.
just a question of how good the Celtics are this year.
He's Preston strong.
Paul George, I think gets some recognition.
Stop it.
Stop.
Your
In
whole,
the
this whole
video,
video is
stop.
invalid.
Because
Yeah.
Kawhi Leonard is still injured with the ACL.
He's going to average 12 points a game.
Well, that's right, he did.
So he might not. And with Kawhi and the way he likes to take his rehab extremely seriously, there's definitely a chance Paul George gets to play a lot of this season as the Batman on his roster.
Okay.
And when he was the Batman in Oklahoma City alongside Russell Westbrook, he finished 3rd in MVP.
That's crazy.
So I think he'll get in. This is just my top 10. This isn't too crazy. I'm not saying
So
he's top 3.
This is your award.
Then we got LeBron and Anthony Davis. They always
The puppet
get
master
votes.
himself. Coach of the year. Can you be coach of the year and MVP? Has it ever happened?
LeBron James can.
I'm sure someone's done it
Has it
before.
LeBron James is
GM of
the
the year.
GM. He's everything on that roster.
I wonder if a
And
player
most
has ever
improved.
won MVP, maybe Steve Nash will do it. He could win Coach of the Year, then he'll have an MVP and a Coach of the Year. Has a player ever won
yes.
But
absolutely.
Steve Nash is he's
yes.
coaching the Nets, right?
Right.
But they're going to do well because
I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'm sure that's happened a lot because, like, if
Did
you
Bill
ever
Russell ever win Coach of the Year?
I don't know. Oh, you're right, a coach of the year.
Right.
I just know there's just so many former players in the NBA. I'd be
Right.
hard pressed to think that some of those, you know.
And then, so anyways, into my top 3 now. Giannis, I think he'll be top 3.
Okay.
Definitely.
And then these next 2, I don't have them labeled
We
1 and
already
2.
know
I have them
who your
labeled
number 1 and
head
2
and heart. My head
is.
says Luka Doncic.
Really?
Luka looks phenomenal in the preseason right now.
I thought it'd be opposite.
He is shooting so well from the field. He's up around 50 plus. He shot 80% in his first game, 2 for 4 from 3.
Yeah.
Shot up around 50% in his last game again. And the reason I am taking a lot of stock in that is because he looked terrible to start the regular season last year.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that he is already looking like this before the regular season even starts makes me
He's
really hopeful for what he's going to do this season. And then take into account that last year he started the season out shooting terribly. He was like one of the worst percentage shooters in the league.
Yeah.
And ended his season shooting around 38%
Mm.
So when you think about those last couple of months of the regular season and how incredibly he must have been shooting in order to raise those percentages up that high, just makes me think of Luka Doncic with his legs under him, in good shape, is one of the most dominant forces in the league. And then you got the playoffs as well.
Yeah.
And then my heart, of course, says Kevin Durant.
I know.
Well, we know.
But I thought that the head would be Kevin Durant.
The GM survey says Kevin Durant as well. So, I mean, what is there left to say about
Kevin Durant?
Yeah. The only thing about KD though is like it could go one of 2 ways. Kyrie Irving is such a wild card. You never know what he's going to do. I genuinely don't think Kyrie's going to get vaccinated. He's so out there. I don't think he's changing his mind for anybody. So in the event that he can't play in home games, that policy stays the same because they've got that policy in New York, right?
Yep.
That you can't play at the home games if you don't have the vaccine.
Which is crazy because away players can play.
Yeah, that doesn't. I don't know why the NBA hasn't just made that a rule overall that you just can't play.
Yeah.
But anyway, it could go one of 2 ways. You could say his stats are going to be that much better without Kyrie Irving, or you could say the team is going to do worse. Because if this is a second year where you can make an argument.
They still have James Harden and Kevin Durant.
Okay, but James Harden's a wild card too because
They're
James
projected
Harden
to.
was injured last postseason. You never know if he's going to be healthy.
He's been very durable.
He's been very durable.
Okay.
Unless this is
even Kevin Durant and James Harden. I mean, do they beat Russell Westbrook?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm
Are you
pretty
positive?
sure.
Yes.
This
Really?
like if you're putting together duos on NBA 2K or whatever, and you want to get the best duo you can get, KD and James Harden is going to be pretty high up there as far as greatest duos you could create if you took every player in the league and tried to make
Maybe
one of the best duos.
Yeah.
Maybe. You never know with teams like that, though. Everybody was so confident that Golden State was going to take it in 2019.
I think I know. I think I'm. I'm pretty confident.
Okay, but even if Kyrie doesn't play, if the Nets don't win this season, even if Kevin Durant plays great, if the Nets don't win this season, that's a problem. Because the Nets are the overwhelming favorite the past 2 years. The first year you could say, that was an injury, that there's an excuse. If they don't win again this year, you have to wonder if this a bust? Like, did this team fail?
Well, Harden will be a free agent soon.
So I think it could go one of two ways. Kevin Durant could totally win it if the Nets still do well without Kyrie Irving, because his stats are going to be that much better without their third best player. But you could also make the argument if they don't do well, if they don't at least make it to the finals.
Well, you're talking championship, though. I'm just talking MVP.
MVP. That's decided in the regular season. So if they finish first in the Eastern Conference, you would say it's Kevin Durant's favorite to be the MVP then?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's going to average probably around 30 points on 50, 40, 90 shooting.
Efficient.
Like he always does.
This is so smooth.
Especially without Kyrie Irving, that means the assists will probably be up around 4, 5, 6, 7 assists. 8 to 9 rebounds probably. A block and a half, a steal,
and then
something like that.
You just wonder too, like, because Kevin Durant is one of those guys like Steph Curry that's so efficient that he gets his stats without taking a lot of shots. Kevin Durant can get his 30 points on 15 shots a game or less, and he makes players around him look better. He doesn't have to have the ball in his hands to make an impact. You just wonder if Kevin Durant was shooting like as much as James Harden did in OKC, or not OKC.
He scored 50 points a game.
This dude would be averaging like 40 points a game.
Yeah,
easy. He's so efficient. Like, he could win MVP every year if he really wanted to.
Sort of, but then there's the MVP regular season fatigue. Michael Jordan only has 5.
Has 5.
I'm just saying, but there's years where Clyde Drexler wins MVP over Jordan. Everyone knows Jordan's the best player of the league.
But nobody wants to see him
Stretch, I give you credit. LeBron James should have won. I value Finals MVP greater than regular season MVP because you're the best player at the chip, right? You guys made some excellent arguments. I would say the Kevin Durant thing, you're right on with the Kyrie Irving factor. But I would actually say if Kyrie Irving does come back, that gives Kevin Durant less chance to win MVP. Because whenever you have those three-headed monster teams, you siphon votes from each other.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point for sure.
And so, like, I'm looking at a player that maybe doesn't have the caliber of all-stars around them, so they're not taking away these stats or taking away some of the credit where you don't know. Is it really Kevin Durant? Is it James Harden? Is it Kyrie? It's probably a combination of both. Just like with the Lakers, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. So I'm looking at who's the third best player in the league. I say that because most of the sports writers already know who should be the 1 and 2 MVPs every year. This award publicly is really for the third best. Klay Thompson's always 1. Kuzma the GOAT is number 2.
Okay.
So who's going to be the third best player, most valuable to their team?
I'm taking Ish Smith, maybe.
I'm going Joel Embiid.
Okay.
I think he finished like second last year behind Jokic and MVP. If he stays healthy, so that's a big if, right? He missed 20 games last year, but I was very proud of him because in years past he didn't play back-to-back. It was a short and condensed season. He played a lot of his back-to-backs, and just his whole demeanor, I always thought he was very immature. He's a straight pro. Like, he cares maybe as much or more than many players about winning. He wants to win. He wants to seal his legacy. He's not comfortable. The press conference about Ben Simmons and stuff, although I think it was very overblown, but pretty much showed me where his mind's at. Hey, we're going to go to war with the army we have. If Ben Simmons comes back, he comes back. If not, I'm ready to take over. And I think actually if Ben Simmons is not there, that's a huge void to increase his numbers even more. So if the team is able to manage 50 games, this is my prediction, if the Sixers win over 50 games, and he's healthy for the year, he's MVP, hands down.
I think, too, like, a lot of the Sixers' issues, I think, hasn't been about the talent on their team. It's been about the chemistry issues.
Yeah.
There have been so many problems with that team, and I think a lot of it's been Ben Simmons.
Maybe, yeah.
And that's not necessarily
Al Horford and the Jimmy Butler. And
the Jimmy Butler stuff. I don't think that's necessarily Ben Simmons' fault.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good player still, but all the drama surrounding him, I think he's done with it. He's like, whatever. And that, to me, shows that his mindset has changed because he was really immature. But if he's focused and putting up better numbers even than last year when he had an MVP caliber season, you know, Ben Simmons, I mean, the guy does record stats, you know. So I mean, if that's about the most,
except for in the playoffs.
Except for the playoffs, right? So I mean, somebody's got to fill that. It's going to be Joel Embiid, so his numbers are going to be even better.
But even his numbers the same. You take away Ben Simmons, now you're really the only true All-Star on that team.
That's
maybe
awesome.
Tobias
That's
Harris.
awesome. So you get that much more recognition.
So that much more recognition that you're more responsible for your win share because you're the. And if he doesn't miss 20 games last year, I think Embiid goes over Jokic for MVP.
And I'll also go back to Kevin Durant saying this about why I think he will win it as well. because I will say he's my ultimate pick.
Yeah.
No one has ever loved Kevin Durant more right now. I think this might be peak of how fans and media see Kevin Durant.
Because after that series against the Bucks,
he earned everybody's respect after Brooklyn. Gold medal. They wouldn't. I mean, Stephen A. Smith turned around his whole tune on Kevin Durant. He's like his favorite player in the league now.
Absolutely.
Every Sports Illustrated, ESPN, Bleacher Report, these accounts that have pandered to LeBron for the last decade and a half are all now in agreement. Kevin Durant's the best player. I think people are looking to Kevin Durant and trying to give him as many accolades and as much appreciation as they can right now because he's 33.
I don't disagree.
Getting older. And right now, people, they love him. He's earned their respect. We saw how bad of a season it was without guys like him and Curry. We'd love to see him play.
Yep.
And now we have a newfound appreciation for him, I think. So I think fans, media, voters are going to look to that and do with that new appreciation, that new respect, and just that new, joy they get when watching Kevin Durant. I think that helps him in MVP.
Yeah.
And then with Joel Embiid, do you think, though, that we'll get 2 straight centers winning MVP? Because that is very rare.
But they're different. They're a dynamic type of center. Like, it's very rare in NBA history because a center got rebounds, some in the paint buckets. If you look at what Jokic does, he essentially can give you a triple-double any night. So can Embiid. Embiid, crazy clip from free throw percentage. He's shooting 14, 15 free throws a game at such a high percentage. He has mid-range games. He has distance game. He's a really good defender. He's pretty much a total package. So I wouldn't look at the position specifically because it's hard to compare him as a center to all the other centers in NBA history because
he's not traditional. So we don't have
he's not traditional. They're not traditional. So to answer your question, yes. It could go center back to back because to me they're not really centers at traditional center.
They're tall guards.
Yeah.
I mean
tall guards.
Yeah. I mean at the end of the day though, I do think Kevin Durant's a safe bet, but I think Luka's equally safe.
Yeah, I agree.
But that totally depends on the Mavs' success because I think the thing that's held back every single year, people are like, yeah, it's going to be Luka. For the past 2 years that he's other than his rookie year, for the past 2 years he's had MVP caliber seasons, but the Mavs haven't done anything with it.
Right.
And they really need to get some pieces around him if they want to keep him around because nowadays it's not like it was in the 90s, early 2000s when you'd stay
back in your heyday.
Yeah, back in my heyday.
In your heyday.
When people would stay with one franchise their whole career.
Right.
If Luka's not satisfied, he's going to leave.
Yeah.
They've got Tingus Pingus as their next best player. They're not getting anywhere. They need to put another star around him, a secondary, a complimentary star. I think a guy like C.J. McCollum might do well. Somebody who is a star but not gonna have any risk of being the best player on that team. I think that would serve my religion.
Maybe I'm naive, but I see Luka sticking it out with the Mavericks because of that Dirk connection.
The Dirk connection, the Cuban connection.
Maybe for a while. I don't see his whole career if they can.
But I think of all the sports, the NBA is still that sport where people stay a long time with the ability to do the supermax and give them the extra year. I mean, you look at like Steph Curry, and you look at Giannis and stuff, and like Damian Lillard, like all guys that like Lillard especially maybe has this out to like lead. They put in 8 to 10 seasons, and then maybe towards the end of their career, if they don't have it, they'll leave.
Yeah, I mean, that's what KD did. We saw. I was about to say we saw the same thing with everybody thought KD was. KD was so loyal to his franchise.
He put in his time.
But yeah, he put in his time. But ultimately, if they weren't winning, he put a chip over money.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Eventually, I could see Luka doing this. And if they don't get some.
I have a question for both of you here, since Kevin Durant and Luka are the heavy favorites. So, like I mentioned, KD is 33. He's getting older. I still think he's got a couple more really good years left in him.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Luka obviously looks to have at least a decade more years ahead of him. So if KD and Luka stats are right there, placement in their conferences are right there, both pretty similar. It's a wash. Do voters go, this might be KD's last one, let's give it to him, or do they say let's put Luka at the face of the NBA
Probably
right now?
KD because Luka's gonna have so many more years to win MVP.
But do you think they'll try to propel him to the face of the league already?
Maybe. I mean, Derrick Rose won at 21 years old, and you had other established guys that have been doing it for a long time. I just think it's a little unfair if Luka would win it with their stats being the same because he has been first-team All-Star his entire career besides the year he was hurt. It's like, how can you only have one MVP out of that, But then I'm really worried that Luka will have the opportunity to have these glory stats because of the lack of other talent versus Durant. Okay, well, Kyrie's going to get us 25. James Harden's going to get us 20. Like, how is he going to do any better than he did last season in terms of stats? Or how is he going to do any better than his OKC years when it was just him and Russ? So,
all right.
Stats being the same, Durant, but I really think Luka's stats are going to be here, and Durant's going to be here because of the
star talent.
Yeah.
I agree.
Are there any dark horses you want to throw in here for any of these awards we talked about? Names that haven't been thrown out.
Yeah, it feels a little disrespectful not to consider Jokic because he won it last year, but I genuinely don't think he's going to win it.
Did you give your prediction for MVP?
Yeah, Luka.
Okay.
Luka or KD, I've got them both.
Co-MVPs. Okay.
They're co-MVPs.
Yeah.
I think they could both win it, and I'd be happy.
And I think the coach of the year, GM of the year, MVP of the year, most improved LeBron James said last year
Most
that,
improved Pascal Siakam for the 5th straight.
Yeah, LeBron James said last year he thought Curry. He led the league in scoring last year. Right. He took a team to that 8th seed, even though they got bumped out with the Memphis series. But he's like, hey, it's just tough. Like, we talk about the fatigue. Like, what does your season have to be in order for you to be in that conversation? But if Golden State now jumps from barely making that play-in game, to being a 1, 2, or 3 seed, I think he's also on that tail end of his career. Where
LeBron also tweeted before last season started in response to who's going to have a big breakout season. He said Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah,
I think it was like
the
all
GOAT,
pass with a couple of exclamation points, and we saw how that turned out.
I mean, we can all agree LeBron James isn't going to win, right? Are we all in agreement that LeBron is not going to win the MVP?
I don't know.
I'm going to be honest. I think LeBron's declining a little bit.
I would actually hope so. Okay, that man is like 45 years
Shout
old.
out Coach Stretch.
I'm just saying the past
Maybe
2
declining
years
as a player, but
he's not
increasing as a GM.
Right.
He's ascending in one respect.
He's ascending as Coach LeBron.
You had to sacrifice the playing for the coaching and the GM.
He's playing mental games. Like
he's playing 40 chess. For sure.
Chess, not checkers.
He's playing 40 chess.
5D reality.
Are we going our general manager?
Wow.
I'm not kidding.
LeBron?
I'm kidding. All right.
LeBron?
So I
he
think
assembled the team.
I think we got it there. We got all our awards. I believe last year Coach D and I both went 0 for 6.
No.
I think we might have.
Wow.
No. Did I?
I think we did.
What did I say in B last year for MVP too? Every year I say it. I said if he stays healthy, gets hurt for 20 games.
So hopefully we're more accurate this year. I feel pretty confident about most of my predictions.
Yeah, I do as well.
I think Jordan Poole might be a bit of a underdog.
For 6 man is good.
Well, maybe he'll
most
get in there.
There's too many guys that stack up way before him. Like Jaylen Brown, think about that. He had such a crazy first half.
All I'm saying, Coach D, is if Kevin Huerter actually wins 6th Man of the Year, this video is going to go up in history in like 20 million, 200 million views. Back to the man that predicted it.
Why is he not the face of the franchise? Why is he not the face of the NBA?
I agree.
Why do we say Huerter for MVP? What are we thinking?
I mean, he's got that Maryland connection. You know how those guys are.
So imagine if he did win. Imagine how big this channel would get. Somebody would find this and share it online and be like,
I would find it and share it online.
Right, yeah. I'd make burner accounts just to add.
All right, so call there. You heard it here first. Kevin Huerter, 6th Man of the Year. You heard it right here first. I've been on the Kevin Huerter bandwagon since day one.
You have. The only reason I knew who he was because you said he was from Maryland.
So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for 3 great years of the Debate Mates, and here's to many more, and see you next time.